Think about the most hard-working employee in your home. It's not your dishwasher, which sleeps 22 hours a day. It's not your oven, which only shows up for dinner. It is that hum coming from your kitchen, the refrigerator. You open it 50 times a day without a second thought. It is the only appliance in your house that literally never sleeps. But here is the scary part. Buying a new one in 2026 is one of the most expensive traps in modern home ownership. If you pick the wrong one, you aren't just out $3,000. You're looking at a decade of onion-flavored ice cream, frozen lettuce, and a utility bill that looks like a car payment. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sal, and today, we are going to strip away the marketing buzzwords and the flashy LED screens to explain exactly how to buy the best refrigerator for your home. We're going to settle the war between French doors and side-by-sides, solve the counter-depth mystery, and look at the technology that actually matters versus the stuff that's just there to look pretty in the showroom. Before we talk about doors, we have to talk about what's happening behind them. Most people think a fridge makes things cold. In physics, there is no such thing as cold. There is only the absence of heat. A refrigerator is actually a heat relocator. Inside those walls, a chemical refrigerant is moving through a cycle of evaporation and compression. It absorbs the heat from your milk and your leftovers, carries it outside the box, and dumps it into your kitchen. This is why the back or bottom of your fridge feels warm. The heart of this process is the compressor. In older fridges, the compressor was like a light switch. It was either 100% on or 100% off. It would kick in with a loud thump, run at full blast until the fridge was cold, and then shut down. This is incredibly inefficient. Today, if you are in the market for a fridge, you'll see the word inverter compressor everywhere. Think of an inverter like a gas pedal rather than a light switch. It can run at 10%, 50%, or 100% speed. It keeps the temperature rock steady, it's whisper quiet, and it saves a massive amount of electricity. If the fridge you're looking at doesn't have an inverter motor, walk away. You're looking at technology from the 1990s. Now, before we even look at the door handle, we need to address the biggest technical divide in the world of cooling. If you're watching this in India, the Philippines, or Brazil, you're likely choosing between direct cool and frost-free. If you're in the US or the UK, you might not have even heard these terms in 20 years. Direct cool is the original technology. It uses natural convection. The cold air moves around the fridge because cold air is heavier and sinks while warm air rises. There are no fans inside. The advantage? It's incredibly energy efficient. Because there are no fans and no heaters, it uses almost no electricity. It's also better at keeping humidity high, which keeps your vegetables crisp for longer. The disadvantage? You've seen it. The snow cave. Ice builds up on the freezer walls, and eventually, you have to push a button to defrost it, turning that ice into a puddle of water. Frost-free or auto. Defrost is what has taken over the Western world. It uses electric fans to force cold air into every corner of the fridge. Every 8 to 12 hours, a small heater inside the walls turns on for a few minutes to melt any ice before it can even form. You never have to defrost it. It's convenient, it's clean, and the temperature is much more even. But it's more expensive to buy. It uses more electricity, and that dry, forced air can wilt your spinach in 2 days if you don't use the crisper drawers. If you're on a strict budget or live in a small apartment, don't let anyone tell you direct cool is dead. It's a reliable, efficient workhorse. But for a large family fridge, frost-free is the modern standard for a reason. Let's move to the part you actually interact with, the configuration. This changes how you live your life in the kitchen. Let's start with the side-by-side. Imagine a vertical line cutting your fridge right down the middle. One side is the freezer, the other is the fridge. Side-by-sides are the organizational kings. Because the shelves are narrow and go from top to bottom, you don't have to dig through a frozen graveyard to find your peas. Everything is at eye level. However, there is a catch. Because the unit is split vertically, the shelves are narrow. If you're the type of person who buys extra-large frozen pizzas or likes to put a massive Thanksgiving turkey platter in the fridge, a side-by-side will be your worst enemy. It's great for narrow kitchens because the doors are small and don't need much room to swing open, but it's a nightmare for wide items. Then, we have the current king, the French door. This design gives you 2 side-by-side doors on top for the refrigerator and 1 or 2 large pull-out drawers on the bottom for the freezer. This is based on a simple ergonomic truth. We use the fridge 10 times more often than the freezer. Why should you have to bend over to get a head of lettuce? In a French door model, the fridge is a wide, open cavern. You can fit a full-size deli tray or a massive cake box in there with ease. It feels luxurious and modern. But the downside is the freezer abyss. Most people end up with a bag of frozen corn from 2 years ago, buried at the bottom of that drawer because you have to stack items on top of each other. We can't ignore the classics. The top freezer refrigerator is the design we all grew up with. It's the most affordable, but it's also ironically often the most energy efficient. Why? Physics. Heat rises. By putting the freezer at the top, the cold air naturally sinks down into the fridge compartment. Plus, the compressor is usually at the bottom, far away from the coldest part of the unit. For a small family or a rental property, a top freezer is the buy-it-and-forget-it champion. But let's be honest, no one likes bending down to see what's on the bottom shelf of the fridge every single day. The bottom freezer is the inverse. It puts the fridge at eye level but keeps the single-door design. It's a great middle ground for people who want the ergonomics of a French door but don't want the complexity of 2 doors. It's simple, reliable, and effective. In the last few years, a new category has emerged, pioneered by brands like Samsung and LG, the 4-door flex or multi-door. Imagine a French door fridge on top, but the bottom is split into 2 separate compartments. The magic here is that one of those bottom compartments is usually convertible. With the touch of a button, you can turn that section from a freezer into a fridge or even a wine cooler. This is the ultimate solution for buyer's remorse. Not sure if you'll need more freezer space for a party? Get a unit that can do both. It is the most expensive configuration, but for a high-end kitchen, it offers versatility that traditional fridges can't touch. If there is one part of this video you need to pay attention to, it is this. This is the one reason people return refrigerators. It's called the depth dilemma. Go to your kitchen right now and look at your counters. Standard kitchen counters are 24 to 25 inches deep. A standard depth refrigerator is massive. It is usually 31 to 36 inches deep. When you slide that into your kitchen, it is going to stick out into the room by 6 to 10 inches. It looks like a giant silver monolith has invaded your cooking space. The advantage? Massive storage. We're talking 28 to 30 cubic feet of space. If you have a family of 5, this is what you need. But if you want that magazine cover look, you'll look at counter-depth refrigerators. These are designed to sit flush with your cabinets. They look built-in and professional. But here is the counter-depth lie. To make them flush, manufacturers have to shave off nearly 6 inches of depth. That means you are losing 15 to 20% of your storage capacity. To make up for it, they often make these fridges taller or wider. If you were replacing a standard fridge with a counter-depth model, your groceries are going to feel very cramped. You are paying a premium price for less space, all in the name of aesthetics. Let's move past the doors and look at the hidden tech. Most people look at the screen on the door, but I want you to look for 2 words: dual evaporators. In a cheap fridge, there is only one cooling system. The cold, dry air from the freezer is blown into the fridge to keep it cool. This is bad for 2 reasons. First, the fridge needs humidity to keep your vegetables crisp, while the freezer needs to be bone dry to prevent frost. Mixing the air ruins both. Second, smells travel. If you have leftover fish in the fridge, that air is being blown over your ice cubes in the freezer. This is why your ice sometimes tastes funky. A fridge with dual evaporators has 2 separate cooling systems that never share air. The fridge stays humid and fresh. The freezer stays dry and odor-free. This is the single biggest upgrade you can make for food quality, and it's a feature common in high-end brands like Bosch and the premium tiers of LG. Then, there's the smart fridge debate. Do you need a 21-inch tablet on your refrigerator door? The answer for most people is, probably not. While it's cool to see what's inside your fridge from your phone, remember that a refrigerator should last 15 years. A tablet usually starts feeling slow after 5. If you love the tech, go for it. But if you want a fridge that stands the test of time, prioritize the mechanical build, the hinges, the seals, and the compressor over the software. A fridge's primary job is to keep milk at 37 degrees, not to tweet. Finally, let's talk about that sticker on the front. If you are in the USA or Canada, look for the Energy Star logo. It's not just about the environment, it's about your wallet. An Energy Star fridge can save you hundreds of dollars over its lifetime. If you are in the UK or Europe, you'll see the A through G rating. Don't be alarmed if a great fridge has a D rating. The 2021 standards are incredibly strict. If you are in India or Australia, the star rating is your best friend. Every extra star is roughly a 20% reduction in running costs. In terms of brands, the current landscape is shifting. LG and Samsung dominate the feature-rich market, but Whirlpool and GE are often preferred by repair technicians because their parts are easier to find. If you want the tank of refrigerators, you look at brands like Miele or Bosch, but prepare your bank account. So, before you head to the store, here is your Let's Sal Explain checklist. 1. Measure 3 times. Measure the width, the height, and, most importantly, the door swing clearance. 2. Pick your configuration. French door for luxury, side-by-side for organization, top freezer for value. 3. Check the depth. Do you want more storage, standard, or a cleaner look, counter depth? 4. Demand an inverter compressor and, if possible, dual evaporators. Buying a refrigerator isn't just about picking a color. It's about understanding the thermodynamics of your kitchen and the reality of your daily habits. If this explanation helped you clear up the confusion, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got more home tech deep dives coming up. I'm Sal, and I'll see you in the next one.